You posted. Nothing happened. You built a profile. No one reached out. You made a sample. No client appeared. So you told yourself the comforting lie. I just need the right person to discover me. No. Discovery is a fantasy when you have no proof, no offer, and no distribution. The market cannot trust what it cannot inspect. It cannot buy what it cannot understand, and it cannot respond to a signal you barely send. This is the mistake that keeps talented men invisible. They confuse private ability with public force. They think being good is enough. They think effort hidden in a room will somehow create reputation outside that room. They think the world is watching more closely than it is. It is not. The world is busy. The market is selfish. People are distracted, overloaded, impatient, and loyal to their own problems. They are not walking through the darkness with a lantern, searching for your hidden potential. If you are unknown, unsupported, broke, invisible, or starting from zero, you do not have the luxury of waiting. You do not have a famous name. You do not have warm introductions. You do not have a powerful family opening doors. You do not have an audience begging for your work. You do not have a market waking up every morning searching for you by name. So if you sit quietly hoping to be found, you are not being patient. You are hiding behind a fantasy that protects your ego. You say you want discovery, but what you often mean is that you want success without exposure. You want opportunity without rejection. You want clients without outreach. You want attention without distribution. You want the market to walk to your door so you never have to knock on anyone else's. That is not ambition. That is fear wearing clean clothes. Machiavelli understood something most modern men avoid. Power does not belong to those who merely possess ability. Power belongs to those who can make ability visible, useful, and respected in the world. He wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand." That means people judge what they can see before they ever experience what you truly are. You may be talented, you may be disciplined, you may have depth, you may have taste, you may have real potential. But if no one can see it, inspect it, understand it, trust it, or connect it to a problem they already have, then your talent has no force in the market. Private talent without public evidence is weak. It may be real, it may be beautiful, it may even be superior. But if it does not create contact with reality, it does not move power. Unknown men do not wait to be found. They create market contact. That is the core lesson. You do not need to be discovered. You need to build a machine that makes being ignored more difficult than responding. That machine has 4 parts: proof, positioning, outreach, repetition. Not hope, not waiting, not praying that one post goes viral, not imagining that one powerful person will randomly find you and change your life. Proof, positioning, outreach, repetition. By the end of this, you should be able to identify exactly which part of your machine is broken. Some men have no proof. Some men have proof, but no positioning. Some men have positioning, but no outreach. Some men do outreach once, then collapse emotionally when reality does not reward them immediately. All of them call the problem bad luck. But often it is not bad luck, it is a broken machine. Let us begin with proof. Before you try to be discovered, ask yourself one brutal question. What is there to discover? Not what you intend to build, not what you dream about, not what you tell yourself you are capable of. Not the identity you carry in your own mind. What actually exists? What can be seen? What can be judged? What can be inspected? What can create trust in a stranger? If the answer is nothing, then discovery would not save you. It would expose you. Because attention arriving before proof is not a blessing, it is a threat. If the market looked at you today, what would it see? A vague profile. A few unfinished ideas, a bio full of ambition, a private folder full of work no one can access. A claim that you are passionate, serious, hardworking, and different, that is not proof. That is decoration. Proof is output. Proof is visible evidence that you can create a useful result. If you write, show the writing. If you edit, show the before and after. If you design, show the redesign and explain why it works. If you help with strategy, show the diagnosis. If you build systems, show the process and the result. If you create thumbnails, show the old version, the new version, and the reason the new one is stronger. The market does not reward your internal seriousness. It rewards evidence. The beginner says, "But no one has hired me yet." Good. Then create self-initiated proof. Choose a real business, a real creator, a real page, a real channel, a real offer, a real problem. Analyze what is weak. Create a sample improvement. Explain your thinking. Show the before and after. Publish it. Send it. Turn it into evidence. You do not need permission to build proof. You need initiative. This is where serious men separate themselves from dreamers. The dreamer waits for a chance. The builder creates evidence that makes the chance logical. A man who says, "Give me an opportunity," sounds weak when he has nothing to show. A man who says, "I noticed this problem, I built this example, and here is how I would improve it," enters the conversation with force. That is not begging. That is proof entering the room before your ego does. If you are serious, stop asking the market to believe in your potential. Give it something visible to judge. 3 sample projects. 1 before and after breakdown. 1 clear offer page. 1 public explanation of how you think. That is enough to begin, not enough to dominate, enough to stop being empty. If you are serious about changing, listen carefully. You are probably watching a lot of content. You are collecting frameworks, lessons, philosophies, and hard truths. But if you keep consuming without building proof, you are not advancing. You are decorating your hesitation with intelligence. If you continue like that, another year will pass, and you will still be the man who understands power but does not possess it. Inside Patreon, I go deeper into the client acquisition roadmap, proof building, offer clarity, outreach structure, follow-up, and the systems that turn knowledge into movement. Not for everyone. For the men who are done hiding behind potential. The decision is yours. Now comes positioning. Proof alone is not enough. Many people have work, but no position. They show random samples. They post random thoughts. They claim random skills. They look like a pile of potential instead of a clear solution. The market does not know where to place them. And if the market cannot place you, it cannot remember you. If it cannot remember you, if it cannot refer you, your value does not travel. Positioning makes value travel. It answers 4 questions. Who do you help? What problem do you solve? What result do you create? Why should anyone trust you? If you cannot answer those questions clearly, you are asking strangers to do your thinking for you. They will not. A confused buyer does not buy. A confused viewer does not follow. A confused prospect does not refer. A confused market ignores. You must become legible. Not clever. Legible. Do not say, "I help brands grow through creative digital solutions." That is fog. Say, "I help small YouTubers turn weak video ideas into stronger scripts without wasting hours staring at a blank page." Do not say, "I do content." Say, "I help coaches turn long videos into short clips so they can post consistently without editing for hours." Do not say, "I help businesses with marketing." Say, "I help local service businesses rewrite unclear landing pages so visitors understand the offer and know what step to take next." Clear positioning makes you easier to discover because people finally understand what signal your work represents. You do not need everyone to understand you. You need the right people to understand you quickly. A broad identity feels safe to the ego, but it is weak in the market. A sharp identity risks rejection, but it creates memory. And memory is the beginning of reputation. This is why vague men stay invisible. They want to be everything, so the market remembers nothing. They are afraid to choose a lane because choosing a lane means accepting that some people will not care. Good, let them not care. Power is not built by being understood by everyone. Power is built by becoming useful, clear, and repeated in the minds of the right people. The sharper your position becomes, the more reality can respond to you. This is the part most men resist. They want to remain flexible because flexibility feels safe. They say they can do many things. They say they can help many people. They say they do not want to limit themselves. But the market is not impressed by your range when it cannot understand your use. A knife has power because it has an edge. A man with no edge may be full of potential, but he does not cut through noise. So choose the problem you solve. Choose the person you serve. Choose the result you create. Choose the pain you remove. Then repeat it until the market can recognize you without effort. This is not prison. This is leverage. You can expand later. But in the beginning, expansion is often a disguise for fear. You are not expanding. You are avoiding commitment. Commitment creates a signal. Signal creates memory. Memory creates reputation. Reputation creates opportunity. Now comes outreach. This is where most passive men retreat. They enjoy proof because proof can be built in private. They enjoy positioning because positioning feels intellectual. They enjoy improving their profile, changing their bio, adjusting their portfolio, rewriting their offer, and imagining that every small improvement is movement. But when it is time to contact the market, they freeze. Because outreach introduces rejection. A post can be ignored quietly. A message can be rejected directly. A profile can sit there without judgment. An offer sent to a real person forces reality to answer. That is why outreach is powerful. That is also why weak men avoid it. Unknown men do not wait to be found. They create market contact. Market contact means putting your proof, your offer, and your insight in front of people who have the problem you solve. Not random people, relevant people. People with pain. People with money. People with urgency. People whose current situation gives you an opening. If you help YouTubers with scripts, contact creators with strong ideas but weak openings. If you edit short-form clips, contact coaches, podcasters, or creators with long-form content but inconsistent short-form output. If you write landing pages, contact businesses whose pages are unclear. If you build lead lists, contact agencies or consultants who need more sales conversations. If you create thumbnails, contact channels with good topics and weak packaging. Do not contact the world. Contact the wound. Find the place where your skill meets someone else's visible problem. That is the beginning of strategy. Outreach is not begging when you bring value. It becomes begging when you arrive empty. Desperate outreach says, "Please give me a chance." Strategic outreach says, "I noticed this specific problem. I built a small example, and here is how I would approach it." The difference is proof. The difference is specificity. The difference is posture. A weak message talks about you. A strong message talks about their problem. A weak message asks for belief. A strong message gives evidence. A weak message says, "I am passionate and hardworking." A strong message says, "Your first 30 seconds lose tension because the viewer does not know what outcome they are waiting for." I rewrote the opening to create a clearer payoff. That is not noise. That is useful. A cold message should be simple. Observation, diagnosis, value, offer, soft, close. I noticed this specific problem. The issue seems to be this. I made a quick example. I can help you do this consistently. Want me to send it over? That is enough. No long speeches, no fake compliments, no begging for mentorship, no emotional biography, no paragraph about how badly you want a chance. The market does not care how much you want success. It cares whether you can create value. This is where your ego must die. You are not contacting the market to be loved. You are contacting the market to test reality. If they respond, you gain information. If they ignore you, you gain information. If they object, you gain information. If they reject you, you gain information. Silence teaches friction. Objections teach missing trust. Rejection teaches adjustment. Interest teaches direction. Everything becomes data once you stop making your ego the center. Machiavelli wrote, "A ruler who relies entirely on fortune is ruined when it changes." The man waiting to be discovered is relying on fortune. He hopes the algorithm changes. He hopes the right person appears. He hopes timing becomes kind. He hopes attention arrives without contact. That man is fragile because his future depends on forces he does not control. The strategic man acts on the half he can control. He builds proof. He sharpens position. He contacts the market. He repeats until the signal becomes stronger. He does not worship luck. He creates pressure. Now comes repetition. This is where most men fail after feeling motivated. They do something once and expect destiny to answer. One post, one message, one portfolio piece, one sample, 1 week of discipline. Then silence comes. They say, "It did not work." No, you did not repeat long enough for the market to produce data. One post is not data. One message is not market feedback. 1 week is not discipline. Send 100 targeted messages. Publish 30 useful breakdowns. Build 10 sample improvements. Track the responses. Study the objections. Improve the offer. Repeat again. Then you are allowed to say the market has spoken. Without repetition, you only have emotion. With repetition, you have data, and data is stronger than mood. This is why the discovery fantasy is so poisonous. It makes you believe one big moment will replace repeated contact. One viral video, one powerful person, one lucky opportunity, one perfect client, one magical break. But serious success is usually less dramatic. Repeated proof. Repeated offers, repeated publishing, repeated outreach, repeated delivery, repeated improvement. The world begins to respond because the signal keeps appearing. That is how reputation forms. Reputation is repeated evidence, not one announcement, not one good day. Repeated evidence. If you post one useful breakdown, people may ignore it. If you post 30, a pattern begins. If you send one sharp message, maybe nothing happens. If you send 100, you learn the market. If you build one sample, it may be weak. If you build 10, your judgment improves. If you deliver one project well, you gain a client. If you deliver repeatedly, you gain reputation. The unknown man has no inherited trust. He must manufacture it through consistency. Now look at the hidden fear behind wanting to be discovered. Most men who say they want discovery are trying to avoid asking. They want to avoid the discomfort of making an offer. They want to avoid seeing silence. They want to avoid hearing no. They want to avoid being compared. They want to avoid having their proof judged. They want success to arrive in a way that protects their ego. Discovery feels clean. Outreach feels vulnerable. Discovery feels romantic. Distribution feels mechanical. Discovery lets you imagine being chosen. Outreach forces you to earn attention. That is why weak men prefer discovery. The stronger man chooses distribution. Distribution is not glamorous. It is not poetic. It is not a fantasy. It is work. Publishing, sending, following up, testing, improving, repeating. But distribution creates contact. Contact creates reality. And reality is the only place where power can be built. You cannot build power inside imaginary recognition. You build it when the market responds or refuses to respond, and you are disciplined enough to study both. Now here is the practical system. First, build proof. Create 3 sample projects. 1 before and after breakdown. 1 short case study. 1 clear offer page. Do not wait for clients to give you permission to become credible. Build evidence. Second, define positioning. Write 1 clear sentence. I help a specific person achieve a specific result without a specific pain. If a stranger cannot understand it, rewrite it. Third, create a target list. Find 50 people or businesses who visibly have the problem you solve. Not random names, qualified targets. Write the pain signal beside each name. Fourth, contact the market. Send specific outreach based on observation. No generic messages. No fake compliments. No long speeches about yourself. Observation, diagnosis, value, offer, soft close. Fifth, repeat and track. Who responded? Who ignored? What objection appeared? Which offer created interest? Which proof built trust? Which market had urgency? Which first line worked? Which sample was strongest? This is the discovery replacement. Proof, positioning, outreach, repetition, simple, not easy, simple, not easy, simple. And this is exactly why most people avoid it. Because once the system is clear, the excuse disappears. You can no longer say, I just need to be discovered. You must admit, I have not built enough proof. I have not clarified my offer. I have not contacted enough of the market. I have not repeated long enough to produce data. That admission hurts. Good. Truth often hurts before it liberates. Now let us speak to the creator. You say the algorithm does not notice you. Maybe. But are your titles strong? Are your hooks sharp? Is your positioning clear? Does your content solve a painful problem? Are you repeating 1 signal long enough? Are you creating proof of thought? Are you studying retention? Are you making offers? Or are you posting random ideas and hoping the algorithm becomes your parent? The algorithm is not your parent. It does not owe you discovery. You must make the signal sharper. Now let us speak to the freelancer. You say clients do not find you. Why would they? Is your portfolio visible? Is your offer clear? Have you created samples? Have you contacted people with the problem? Have you followed up? Have you made it obvious what you do? Or are you sitting behind a profile waiting for a stranger to gamble on invisible value? Clients are not coming to rescue your potential. You must bring proof to their world. Now let us speak to the ambitious man with no support. You say no one opens doors. May be true. So stop staring at closed doors. Build a key. Skill is a key. Proof is a key. Offer is a key. Off-reach is a key. Outreach is a key. Reputation is a key. Money is a key. Distribution is a key. You do not need every door open. You need enough leverage to stop begging at the wrong ones. If you are serious and you are tired of watching lesson after lesson while your life stays in the same place, then understand the cost. If you continue consuming without execution, you will become a man with a sharp mind and no evidence. You will understand strategy but own no territory. You will speak about power but still wait for permission. Inside Patreon, I give the deeper execution path: client acquisition, offer construction, outreach structure, follow-up, Positioning. Proof systems. The parts that turn philosophy into contact with the market. This is not for spectators. It is for the man who has decided that invisibility is no longer acceptable. The decision is yours. You are not here to be discovered like a hidden object. You are here to become a force that creates contact with reality. The world may ignore you at first. Good, you will sharpen. The market may reject you at first. Good, you will learn. Your first posts may get no attention. Good, you will improve the signal. Your first messages may get silence. Good, you will refine targeting. The beginning is not supposed to validate you. The beginning is supposed to train you. The beginning is supposed to train you. So stop treating silence like a verdict. Treat it like a battlefield report. If no one responds, improve the proof. If people are confused, improve positioning. If no one sees you, improve distribution. If prospects ignore you, improve targeting and first lines. If people hesitate, improve trust. If buyers object, improve value clarity. The machine can be improved, but only if you stop waiting to be chosen. This is the final truth. Discovery is not a strategy. It is a fantasy when you have no proof, no offer, and no distribution. The unsupported man cannot live by fantasy. He needs systems, he needs evidence, he needs market contact. He needs repeated pressure against reality until reality gives information. So build proof, clarify positioning, contact the market, repeat until the signal becomes impossible to ignore. That is how unknown men move, not by waiting to be found, by creating contact until being ignored becomes harder than responding. Stop trying to be discovered. Build the machine that forces the market to see what you have become.